Yes. So
Speak up.
my name is Matt. I'm 27. Growing up, my dad passed away when I was 9 years old. Then about 4 years later, my mother ended up remarrying to a Army tabbed Ranger that served in the 82nd. Growing up with him was pretty difficult. He would white glove our chores. He has, done everything. There was a lot of arguments and everything like that. There was even a period of time where I had to live with some friends shortly before I even left to go into the military because of that. Shortly before I left, though, they ended up letting me stay with them for a couple of days until I left. I went into the military in 2017, the very beginning of 2017. And I ended up doing my basic training in Great Lakes because that's the only place that they offer it now. And then after I completed my basic training, I got orders to go to Pensacola at the Naval Air Station there to become a Naval Air Crewman. I stayed in Pensacola for mainly the entire time that I was in the military because I was only able to do a year before I got medically discharged due to adjustment disorder with extreme anxiety and extreme depression. After I got out, I lived with a family that I had known that I used to go to church with. So they were able to help me for a little bit until I was able to get out on my own. I met my wife in 2019. And then, after we had started dating for a little bit, we found out that she was pregnant with our first son. His name is Nehemiah. He is now 5. We lived in Piqua, Ohio at the time. It's about an hour north. After that, everything was okay. I was still able to at least make enough to take care of everything, even with wife and at that point, 1 child. And then everything going smoothly, we found out that she was pregnant with our second child while we were still living in Piqua. We then moved from Piqua to Sydney. And then I was living in Sydney for about 3 years. So at that point in time, we had already had our second child. His name's Nico. He is now 3. They have both since been diagnosed with autism. My oldest has level 1. My youngest has level 2. It's difficult because they don't know anything that's going on, nor should they.
Right.
At this age.
Right.
It's just hard to answer questions that they have about why things are the way that they are. And the reason why we're even in this situation is because we were working, and with my kids having autism, it's hard to find somebody that, one, I trust to watch.
Right.
And secondly, just because with them not knowing who other people are, it gets them not comfortable.
Right. I absolutely understand that.
And so my wife wasn't able to work.
Right.
Which then had put the financial stress on me.
Right.
Which I'm not complaining about, but when it became too much, we had lost a vehicle, which means I couldn't keep the job that I was working at. So I had to find something more local, which the only places I was able to find at that point in time that were willing to hire were restaurants. And so I had worked at restaurants for a little bit. Wasn't enough to pay my rent. It wasn't enough to pay for a vehicle. It wasn't enough to pay my water and electricity at that point in time. And so, for lack of a better term, we had to leave.
Right.
Because I couldn't keep paying anything anymore.